What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Damien After Dark. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here or you haven't yet, you know the deal. Subscribe below so you can get my videos straight to your phone, okay? Wow. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is back. And can I tell you this? The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has become my favorite franchise of all the franchises right now because it is fresh, because we have a new cast of women that we've never really seen before, and because they had a pretty good season one, and this season that we're in now, season two, is going to be a hit, okay? The main drama surrounding this season is obviously the Jen Shah legal drama. And anytime we have a storyline involving some crazy legal mess, I am there. If you're watching my Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reviews, you know that it's going down with Erica Jane and Tom Girardi. You know things went down with Teresa in Jersey, and now it's going down with Jen Shah in Salt Lake City. And it just seems like these Bravo Housewives girls love to stay in trouble now. So we're going to get into that, but the show pretty much opens up with the dramatic teaser that they released a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago, actually. And I was going to do a video on the teaser, but since I'd already done a video on the trailer, I was like, I'll just wait till the first episode review until I fill you in on the teaser. So if you guys haven't seen the teaser yet, it is at the beginning of the season, or it is at the beginning of episode 1. And pretty much what it is it's a way to draw you in for what's coming this season, and it leaves you on edge because what happens is it shows the girls getting ready to leave for their cast trip episodes into the season. So I think it's called foreshadowing, but we're getting to see a piece of the season that's happened later at the beginning. So they're giving us a little bit of suspense and preview of what's to come. And pretty much what happens is Jen and the girls are getting ready to leave on their cast trip. They're in the parking lot of Beauty Lab and Laser, which is Heather Gay's beauty business that she's got. They're in the parking lot. They're all on a party bus. They're getting ready to leave. Jen gets a phone call, and it's her husband. You don't really hear what he's saying, but she's like, okay. She hangs up and she asks Whitney to turn her microphone off. The girls are kind of just looking at her. She tells them that she's got to leave. She leaves. 12 minutes later, the feds, the police, helicopters swarm the party bus looking for Jen. All the girls are, crazy, wondering what the hell is going on right now. What is Jen not telling us? Is she on the run? All these sorts of things are running through their head, as they should. And that sets us up for what is to come. And then we get on the screen, it says 2 months earlier, where it goes back to the beginning so we can figure out what led up to this. So with the season starting, I think a lot of people are expecting to get right into the Jen Shah drama arrest, but the first episode doesn't really get into that. I think they're showing a little bit of what has happened before that and leading up to it. So we're going to have to wait a little bit into the season until it really gets into that crazy heavy drama that we want to see. So the best tagline, in my opinion, was Lisa and Mary. When the show started, Lisa's tagline was, "You don't have to like me, I like me enough for the both of us." And I was like, ooh, very clever. And then Mary's, of course, was, "If you come for me, I will send Jesus after you." We've never really heard a tagline like that before. And I was like, yes, Mary is using Jesus as a weapon, baby. She gonna send Jesus after all y'all. The episode opens at Jen's new chalet, Shah Chalet 2.0. And she says, like, just like everything good thing that comes to an end, the lease on Shah Chalet came to an end as well. Yeah, let's be real, Jen. What really happened with Shah Chalet, right? We all know it was a rental just for the show. She never owned the home, which she did say the lease was up, so she's admitting that it was rented. But we know Jen. Jen and her assistant are cooking in the kitchen, setting things up, and Lisa Barlow is coming over to see how Jen's doing, checking on her. They're gonna hang out, yada yada yada. Um, Even though Jen downgraded from her last home as far as size, I like this chalet a lot better. It's a lot more beautiful on the inside, the decor. It looks more homey. I like it better than the first one that they had in season one, which is not uncommon, by the way, for these reality stars to rent homes that's not theirs. You got to play the part and look the part. So I guess instead of being their true selves, they want them to have a big extravagant home, and they go out here and rent those. Um, let's see. So Jen is showing Lisa her new home. They're walking through it, showing it, and baby, this is the Fed's dream, because they're sitting back right now, pen, paper, and popcorn, watching and taking notes. Jen takes Lisa to her closet, which Bravo calls at the bottom the overflow closet, meaning that she's got a lot more clothes somewhere else. And Jen's closet has so many shoes, so many clothes. She's bragging about how the movers have never seen, when the movers moved their things from the last house, they had never seen so many clothes in their life. And I'm like, oh, the Bravo editors are gonna really give it to Jen just like they gave it to Erica Jane on Beverly Hills. They're gonna show every single scene that they can show of Jen Shah being Jen Shah, which is flaunting flashy money wealth. Remember last season she spent $68,000 or something like that on Meredith's birthday party? Y'all, like, it's about to go crazy. If you're not watching Salt Lake City, you need to be watching, okay? Jen tells Lisa that the last 6 months has been rough for her with quarantine and her marriage. She says that her and Sharif almost got divorced, and her behavior had been affecting their marriage, and it shows flashbacks of Jen's crazy behavior when she goes off and she's screaming and she's yelling, which sometimes I sympathize with her in a way, because we all get mad and go off. Even though hers can be a little extreme at times, it's just like, I don't know. I'll touch on that later. Anyway, I often wonder how much of the criminal activity that Jen was allegedly taking place in is really affecting her marriage. She's saying here that, my behavior affected my marriage, this and that, Sharif was this, Sharif was that, yada, yada, yada. But it makes me wonder, what really affected your marriage? Did you guys know that this was going to happen? How much did Sharif know? Did you know the feds were watching? Was this a lot of pressure on your marriage because you knew what you were doing and could possibly get caught at any time? This is the thing with Jen for me. We now know that her whole life has been, at least on the show, her whole life from what we have seen has been fraudulent. The money, the cars, the clothes, the chalet, the way she makes her money, what she does for a living, it's all been fraudulent and lies. So it's hard for me to believe anything that she's saying this season. She's telling Lisa that these are the problems that her and Sharif are having, but what's the real also cause? Says that in her and Sharif's religion that it is frowned upon to get divorced, just like every religion. But is it not frowned upon to run a 6-state telemarketing scheme against elderly people and steal their money? Is that not frowned upon against Jen? Lisa worries that her friendship with Jen is going to affect her friendship with Meredith. And we'll get in more into that in just a little bit. Jen says something that I thought was interesting, of course, that the editors are going to put in there. She said, girl, I'll go to jail for you. I haven't went to jail yet. And I'm like, whoa. They got to remember, none of this stuff, as we're watching episode 1, none of the telemarketing scheme stuff has came out yet in real time as we're watching. So the fact that she said that, I thought that was very, very interesting. So throughout the season, you guys need to pay attention for little nuances and things like that Jen or others may say, because the editors are going to make sure they put it in there for us. Next scene is we're at Whitney's house with her and her husband. I like Whitney a lot. I think she's great for the show. She's kind of like a good balance. She's not too much, but she's not boring. So her stepsons come over, her husband's sons. They're about 7 years apart from her. Whitney's 34. He's got some stepsons that are like 27, 29, those ages there. Whitney tells her stepsons and her husband that she's rebranding her skincare line called Iris and Bow to Wild Rose Beauty. So I guess her storyline this season is going to revolve around her skincare line and spicing up her sex life, according to the trailer. I do feel like the whole beauty and skincare industry is very saturated right now, and every single reality star that's out there or celebrity is doing like something beauty, Rena Beauty, Kylie Beauty, like all these different beauty things, and nothing wrong with it. Get your bag. I love it. You know, I sold and have my own skincare and beauty website and line as well, so I can't rag on it. I just feel like everybody's doing it now, and they're just like putting their name on something and doing it. However, Whitney did say that she went to the health food store, was getting a lot of different things, experimenting with her skin and making different oils, and she created her own line. So I do have to give her that respect. She did say one thing that I noted I thought was interesting, because I always suspected that Whitney was a trophy wife, the traditional trophy wife, married for money type thing. And she kind of confirmed it in a way. She said, this beauty skincare line is a good way for me to make money, and now I don't have to anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, you just told us everything we needed to know, girl, and confirmed it that pretty much, you know, this man had money, it worked for you, and you married him. And I'm not ragging on her for that. I like Whitney a lot, but let's call a spade, okay? It is what it is. I love her personality. I like Whitney. A lot of people take things like that, different opinions, as hate, like you don't like them. But that's not what it is. She, to me, seems like the blonde, pretty girl who met an older man that was successful with money and took an opportunity, and hey, that's her. Whitney says that her stepsons are probably see her as a role model because they see her working hard and they can do the same. No, Whitney, no. They see that you married your dad. They see that you married their dad. I'm sorry, not your dad. They saw you marry your father and you became a trophy husband or trophy wife. Goodness, I can't get it together today. So, and that's not to say that she doesn't work hard. I'm sure working on her skincare line was hard. But, I mean, I don't know. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. We pull up to Sister Mary's Faith Temple Pentecostal Cathedral, because y'all know Sister Mary runs a church in Salt Lake City. Mary is probably my favorite, one of my favorite, or yeah, I would say Mary is my favorite cast member of this show. And she pulls up to her church, and Mary's starting a podcast, which I thought was kind of random and odd. I never expected Mary to do something like that, but hey, if she likes it, we love it. Let's see what it's about, right? She has two other church members that are there with her who are going to be like a co-host, and one of them at the beginning of the podcast starts to lead the podcast in prayer. And this man gets so into this prayer. If y'all seen, he was really getting into it. And I'm not trying to offend anyone's religion by no means at all. But I just feel like some people really get into it for the show, for just for attention, and because they know people are looking at them. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. This man has a camera crew here videoing him, and he's on the spot. Of course he's showing out for the cameras, but I love the fact that Mary checked it. She was like, oh, hey, calm down. Let me show you how it's done. And she did a short little, oh, Jesus, thank you, God. She did that. She said, that's how you do it there. And I was like, yeah, check him, Sister Mary. Please check him, because he was doing entirely too much. Let's see. I'm really glad they brought Mary back this season, because last season, for those who didn't know, Mary was supposed to be a friend of the show. And she ended up being a full-time cast member because of the different integrated drama that she was in. And I really ended up liking Mary, but she was not in a lot of the show, and she just didn't seem as interested in she didn't seem as involved or as interested in it last season. So I was just like, Mary's not going to come back. I know she's not going to come back, but she came back. She's given us bizarre confessional fashions. She's given us funny shade. She's given us quirky. I love me some Mary. Um, let's see. Her storyline this season, by the way, is that she's allegedly running a cult. What do y'all think about that? Does anybody out there have any inside scoop that you can spill with us here on the show about Mary's cult? Anybody been there, this alleged cult? I don't want to say that Mary does have a cult, but if you watched last season when they went to Mary's church and she was doing the choir thing with her congregation or her church members or whatever you call it, they all looked like they had the fear of God in their eyes. And they were sitting there like, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. And it looked very cult-like to me. So I'm very interested in this cult storyline of Mary's and to see if it really is to see what the producers have up their sleeves. So that will be interesting to see. We get to meet the new housewife, Jenny, at her house. And Lisa comes over and brings her son with her. And Jenny is pretty much introduced as Lisa's friend. Jenny comes from Vietnam, and she talks about their struggle coming from Vietnam to America, and she tells hers and Lisa's kids how thankful they should be for their lives and their upbringing and everything that they have, because they pretty much came from nothing, and then Christian missionaries came and rescued them and brought them to America. One thing that Jenny did say that I thought was pretty cool and interesting is she said that when they came here, she was 7 years old, but her father lowered her age to 5 when she went to school, so she could start kindergarten and start fresh like every child and get that full education, which, you want to do the best for your child. But I thought it was kind of clever in a way too, like to make sure my kid gets this 12 13-year education, I'm going to make sure she starts kindergarten instead of going into first or second grade and not knowing any of these fundamentals that she needs to know. Jenny's husband is a chiropractor, by the way. I noted that, which would be interesting to have as a friend. Could you imagine having a friend or a spouse or whatever it's like a chiropractor? Hey, honey, you want to go out for lunch later? Yeah, and then can you crack my back afterwards? So we see that scene, then we go on to Heather, Whitney, Meredith, and Mary. They are out for lunch, and they're all talking, and they're at one of those restaurants. They're outside in Salt Lake City, of course, so it's cold and there's snow, but they're in one of those restaurants where you can sit in an igloo. Have y'all ever seen those? We have those in Nashville, and I've always wanted to go to one. Like, you can sit in these igloos and eat. And I guess it's really warm in there too. It looks like a unique experience. So Heather, Whitney, Meredith, and Mary, they're all out for lunch. Heather says that she and Jen haven't spoken since the reunion, which I thought was very odd because they were good friends. The reunion ended great for them. They've always been on good terms, so I just thought it was weird that they haven't really spoke. Heather says that Jen reposted something on Instagram where someone was calling Heather a racist. And she says that Jen's pretty much co-signing that if she's reposting it. And I mean, I agree with her on that. You are co-signing that. So I can see why Heather is upset with Jen. It doesn't make sense. And it's almost like, were you trying to start shit just to drum up drama for the show or what? And I don't see Heather being a racist, because that's what she had reposted, someone calling Heather a racist. She's never, ever said or done anything for us as viewers to believe that she's a racist, so it's a reach for me. Meredith says that Jen has been liking and reposting homophobic and negative comments about Brooke. And one of those, Brooks, which is Meredith's son, one of those comments that Meredith brought up was apparently derogatory to her, is that Jen liked a comment where someone was calling him a twink. Now, I don't know about you at home, but for me, I'm a gay man, and I know the gay lingo, and twink is not a derogatory term. I don't know about y'all, but like for me, my understanding, a twink is usually in the gay community a small, or not necessarily small, but yeah, usually it's a small cute gay guy, you know. Usually, you know, you can have a muscular, manly, butch man. A twink is the opposite of that, if you think about that. They're just smaller, they're kind of feminine, they're petite, they're cute. Um, and Brooks is a twink. He is, Meredith. That's not anything derogatory. I could see if someone was calling Brooks the F word, as far as, you know, rhymes with maggot. I don't want to say it here on YouTube and get my video removed. But I could see if Jen was, you know, feeding into things like that or other terrible things. But twink is not a derogatory term, okay? You're going to have to lighten up a little bit, Meredith. Not to say she can't be upset about Jen coming for her son, but Brooks is open. He's fair game, in my opinion. He's not under 18. He's an adult. He signed a appearance release to be on this show, just like you, Meredith. He's open game. He is a part of the show. He was a part of a storyline last season that involved drama with you and Jen and Brooks. So, of course, Jen's going to be asked questions or be involved in tweets and things like that. And I mean, you can get mad, of course. You have every right as a parent. Absolutely. And you have every right to your feelings. But, I mean, if anything, I feel like it's a reach. Maybe y'all correct me if I'm wrong at home. Let me know your opinions. That's my opinion of it. Jen does a lot of bad stuff and says a lot of bad things. But I don't think this is really that deep. Unless there are other tweets and things out there that I haven't seen that she liked that is worse than that. But Bravo showed some on TV that I was like, really? That's what Meredith's mad at? Let's see. Oh, another thing Meredith said is that Brooks is figuring his sexuality out and that Jen needs to leave him alone. Is it just me, or was not last season it was talked about that Brooks was gay? You know, on social media, on Watch What Happens Live, even on the show, I believe, wasn't it talked about that Brooks was like the first gay son on Housewives or something like that? Like, it's not a secret that he's gay, Meredith. She's talking like her son has never came out before, and we're all talking about I'm talking about him being gay or something. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, Meredith. It's not adding up. Leave him alone. He's exploring his sexuality. Baby, Brooks is gay, and there's no problem with that. Moving on. Meredith is having a Shabbat dinner, which is a Jewish tradition, and she's doing it in honor of her father. At the lunch that she had with Heather, Whitney, and Mary. So hard to get all these girls' names right sometimes. When she had that dinner with them, or that lunch in the little igloo, she told them that her father had passed away. So she's having a Shabbat dinner in honor of him, which is a Jewish tradition. And she's having Lisa and her family over, Lisa and Lisa's family to come over. Meredith says that even though she's not fond of Lisa's relationship with Jen, that she needs her friend at this time, which is understandable, which we'll get more into Lisa's relationship with Jen in a second. One thing I noticed was Lisa's son. Did anyone notice what Lisa's son, her youngest son, was wearing when he came to Meredith's Shabbat dinner? That he was so cute. He had these little Ugg boots on, and it made me love Lisa so much more. I was like, oh my God, she has such the cutest style, especially for her kids. Brooks is also there. Like I said, he got a bad rap last season. You know, people said that Brooks was just really uppity and a twink and white privilege, all these different things. So I want to give Brooks a new chance this season. I want to wipe the slate clean, because I know editing can be a motherfucker sometimes. So maybe we can see a different side to Brooks this season, and a more likable side. Let's see. Lisa wants Meredith to give Jen another chance at their friendship. Give Jen another chance at their friendship. In my opinion, I truly think Meredith, like I said, is overacting. I understand her frustration with Jen, but like I said, it's not like she called Brooks a derogatory term, and y'all know what word I'm talking about. And Jen is definitely not homophobic. She's been a big ally for the LGBTQ community. And I'm not even a Jen cheerleader like that, okay? I like Jen for the show. But she's going to get her fair share of my opinion too as her storyline unfolds. Meredith told Lisa, her and Lisa are sitting there talking about Jen and the relationship that her and Meredith have, and that her and Lisa have, and why it's affecting Meredith. And Meredith says that Jen has consistently tortured and harassed her family for 2 years. And I'm like, Meredith, are you that sensitive, baby girl? She's tortured and harassed your family. Where are the receipts? Is it liking tweets? Is it? You guys seemed somewhat cool last season, but now it's for 2 years she's been torturing and harassing your family. It just doesn't make sense to me. Is anybody else see that? Is there any other evidence out there that she's done? Somebody let me know. I'm totally lost and confused. The episode kind of, I can tell that Meredith genuinely is upset about it, so I don't want to discount her feelings on that, but I just feel like it's petty. Maybe we'll get more in the upcoming episodes. This first episode was okay, it wasn't the best, but I do know that it's gonna get better. If it's anything like Beverly Hills has been, it was slow at the beginning and it's gotten a lot better. We just got to get deep into that Jen Shah drama, which I feel like is coming. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. Are you excited about the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Who is your favorite housewife and what is your favorite tagline? Are you looking forward to the Jen Shah drama that's going on? And are you Team Jen or are you Team Meredith? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the video. Stay tuned. I've got Real Housewives of Potomac review coming and Love and Marriage Huntsville review. Thank you so much again. We'll see you next time on Damien After Dark.